It was supposed to be a perfect day. My ex-wife, Emma, stood at the altar, ready to marry my best friend, Jake. The church was packed with people, family, friends, and acquaintances. The air was fragrant with the scent of roses, and soft music filled the space. Everything seemed flawless. The vows were written. The rings were set, and it looked like the day was unfolding exactly as it should. I never imagined I'd be here. In fact, I never thought this day would arrive. But life has a way of surprising you, and here I was, seated in the back pew, struggling to hold it together, watching the woman I once loved marry the one person I always trusted. The pain in my chest was suffocating. It wasn't just about losing Emma. It was losing both her and Jake all at once. Emma and I had been high school sweethearts, married for 5 years. Then things began to fall apart. It started with small issues that grew into bigger problems. Slowly, we drifted apart until I barely recognized the woman I had once adored. She found comfort in someone else. Jake, my best friend, the one I confided in above all others. I should have seen it coming, but I didn't. They didn't even try to hide their relationship for long. After the divorce, they were together almost immediately. It took me months to come to terms with the fact that the woman I loved had fallen for my best friend. Today, they were getting married. I hadn't spoken to either of them in months. They invited me to the wedding, probably out of some misguided sense of decency, or maybe thinking it would be a nice gesture. I should have declined. I should have stayed away, let them have their day. But I couldn't. Maybe it was a last-ditch hope for closure, or maybe I just needed to prove to myself that I could handle it. So I sat there, watching them, forcing myself to keep my emotions under control. When Emma caught my eye, I offered a weak smile, but there was nothing left between us. Not really. She had moved on, and so had Jake. They were happy. I, on the other hand, was still trying to let go. The officiant's voice brought me back to reality, snapping me out of my thoughts. "Do you, Jake, take Emma to be your lawfully wedded wife?" he asked. Jake's voice was steady, filled with love, as he replied, "I do." "Do you, Emma, take Jake to be your lawfully wedded husband?" the officiant continued. Emma's voice was soft but firm as she said, "I do." Then the officiant turned toward the congregation, reciting the words I'd heard at countless weddings before. "If anyone knows of any reason why these two should not be married, speak now or forever hold your peace." A heavy silence settled over the room, but it wasn't the usual kind. It was thick, heavy with unresolved emotions, hurt, regret, and the years of pain I had bottled up inside. I wasn't sure what possessed me. It wasn't planned. My heart pounded and my palms were slick with sweat, but before I knew it, I stood up. I could feel the eyes of everyone in the room, the gasps of surprise, and the weight of their attention bearing down on me. "I can't stay silent," I said, my voice cracking. The words felt like they'd been trapped inside me for far too long. "I can't let this happen." The room froze. Jake and Emma turned to look at me, shock written all over their faces. The officiant looked uncertain, waiting for me to explain. "I know this isn't the time or the place," I continued, my hands trembling. "But I need to say this. Emma, I still love you. And Jake, I never thought I'd have to say this, but you betrayed me. You both betrayed me. I'm not saying this caused a scene." I went on, my voice barely a whisper. "But I can't sit here and watch you two get married knowing how everything ended." Emma's gaze dropped to the floor, tears welling in her eyes. Jake stepped forward, his face a mixture of disbelief and regret. "Please," I said, my voice faltering. "You both know it wasn't just me who got hurt in all of this. But I can't stay silent anymore. You need to understand how this feels." I paused, trying to steady my breathing, to find the right words. "I'm not asking you to stop the wedding. I'm not asking for a second chance. But I had to say it. I had to get this off my chest." The silence in the room felt endless. It was like time itself had stopped. Finally, Emma stepped forward, her face torn. "I didn't want to hurt you," she said softly, her voice barely above a whisper. "I never wanted it to be like this. I didn't expect to fall in love with Jake." Jake remained silent, standing there with regret in his eyes. But there was something else, too. a defensiveness that I hadn't expected. The officiant cleared his throat awkwardly, trying to regain control of the ceremony. Perhaps we should... No! I interrupted, cutting him off. Let them finish. Let them get married. But I couldn't just sit there and remain silent. I needed to speak up for me, for what we had been, for what was left of it. Without another word, I turned and walked out of church, leaving behind the woman I once loved and the man I had once called my best friend. I didn't know what the future would hold, but one thing was clear. Staying silent was no longer an option.